let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akugha as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akugha. In today's package, we kickstart with a report on the people's reaction to an abandoned road construction project awarded by the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC in Urie-Effiong-Oruko local government area of AKWA IBOM state. Next on our lineup is an update on the recent surprise visit by the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, to members of the National Assembly. And moving on, we'll furnish you with details of what the Niger Delta Ministry is doing to resolve conflict and promote development in the Niger Delta. We will, in the course of the program, take a look at the threats of gully erosion as they affect residents of Uyo, the AKWA IBOM state capital. And finally, in today's package is a special report on deregulation of the petroleum downstream sector. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back in just a moment. Don't go away.
Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, determined to make a difference.
Welcome back. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. Disenchanted residents of UBORO-ORO community in Urie-Effiong-Oruko local government area of AKWA IBOM state have called on the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC to compel contractors handling some abandoned road projects in the area to return to site. The call follows petitions to the House of Representatives as well as the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other-Related Offences Commission, ICPC, on the abandoned state of road projects that has made life difficult for the community. Correspondent Nelson Aje tells us more.
On the 17th of July 2013, a 90 million naira contract was awarded to Trailblazers Engineering Company by the Niger Delta Development Commission for the construction of a 1-kilometer Omume-Etibe road, which was later reduced to 500 meters to pave way for a good drainage system. The groundbreaking ceremony was said to have been a colorful one, well attended by the NDDC officials and the contractors. Indeed, the road construction came with high hopes that the community would soon experience better life. However, it turned out to be a huge disappointment for the people as the project failed to see the light of day. In the contract awarded by the NDDC, the Omume-Oruko section of the road has provision for a bridge which was designed to ease transportation hiccups in the area. Expectedly, the stale status of the project has made life difficult for residents of the community as the only bridge constructed in the 80s is gradually wearing off due to pressure. After several visits to the Oyo Zonal office of the NDDC in AKWA IBOM by state representative of the UBORO-ORO community, the Omume-Etibe road was awarded for the second time at the cost of 2.6 billion naira to Hagenmara Nigeria Limited, with a mobilization payment of 300 million. This time, the road project was expanded and divided into two sections to benefit more neighboring communities in Akugha and Mbo LGAs, with a 9-kilometer spur from Omume on the east-west road through Oboro to end in Mbo local government area was marked as Section A, while the remaining part from Uyoko Asang Eweme to Okasio in Akugha local government area was marked as Section B. Shockingly, there are no tangible evidence of road construction in these communities, all of which are in a sorry state. While some sections of the road were graded with sketches of poorly constructed gutters, others are not graded at all. Angered by this development and in a bid to find out why work had not commenced on the road, representative of the community visited the NDDC's head office in Port Harcourt. Their findings revealed that the project file contained photographs of a completed road project awarded to another contractor in a community entirely different from theirs. Meanwhile, efforts to reach the contractor, Mr. Obinna James, were abortive as several phone calls to him were not answered.
My investigation at NDDC headquarters tells me that he said he used the 300 million naira that was given as the mobilizing fee to take his mother what health challenge in quote. That was the word that person told me in NDDC headquarters, to take his mother for abroad for treatment.
Speaking to Inside the Niger Delta, community clan head, His Royal Highness Offiong Effiong Onanowo described the action of the managing director of Hagin Mera Nigeria Limited, Mr. Obinna James, as annoying and provocative.
People have taken a good picture from somewhere else to come and deceive the government and also collected money for a job not done. It is annoying. And that is why we have written petition to the National Assembly highlighting on the travail we are passing through in this part of the state.
Owing to the non-completion of the road project, villagers now find it very difficult to access health facilities in emergency situation. Farmers in the affected communities are equally faced with the challenge of transportation for their produce, a situation that has impacted negatively on the local economy.
The economic activity of this place has been stymied. We farm, the farm produce cannot go out because of bad road.
We are pleading for the federal government to help us to come and do everything or whatsoever that may be about this road.
Obviously, lack of proper project supervision and monitoring by the NDDC has been largely responsible for the non-completion of the Omume-Etebi Road construction project. It is incumbent on the Commission to capture this project in its ongoing forensic audit and ensure that it is speedily completed to ameliorate the sufferings of the people in these communities.
Inside the Niger Delta.
There are indications that the executive and the legislative arms of government are no longer on a collision course in the ongoing forensic audit of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, gave the hint during a recent courtesy visit to the National Assembly. Correspondent Lovely Ofigo has details.
President Buhari last month inaugurated a tripartite consultative committee for the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. Members of the committee, headed by Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, include members of the National Assembly and cabinet members. Their mandate is to reduce friction among party members and promote mutual understanding and cooperation to improve quality of governance. Drawing inspiration from the presidential initiative, Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, recently paid a courtesy visit to the National Assembly and met with the clerk of the nation's apex lawmaking body, Ojo Olatunde, and House Committee Chairman on Niger Delta, Honorable Olubomi Ojo. His mission was to seek cooperation from the lawmakers in the ongoing forensic audit of the NDDC.
We are all running one government, and it's important that we all remember that whatever we do is we want to leave a legacy for Nigeria. And we can't do this if all the arms of government are not cooperating. And so far, I believe that whatever disagreement could have occurred between my own ministry and the National Assembly must have been as a result of mischief. And that mischief must be put to rest so that we can work in one accord for the sake of the nation.
Senator Akpabio, who recently engaged in an altercation with the federal lawmakers over alleged funds mismanagement by interim management of the NDDC, maintained that disagreements were inevitable in intergovernmental relations. The former Senate Majority Leader, during his unscheduled visit to the National Assembly, was optimistic that with the support of the legislators, the ongoing forensic audit of the NDDC would yield more fruitful results.
Whatever achievement we are going to make in the NDDC, by implication in the Niger Delta region, will require the cooperation of the entirety of the National Assembly. By that I mean the Senate, the House of Reps, all combined together, the National Assembly. And that's the only way we can make progress.
I think that was a wise decision. AKPABIO has started interacting, not seeing the National Assembly where he belongs, and of course has a right to visit here as many times as possible, because once a senator, always a senator. Instead of delegating people to get certain things done, he's beginning to reach out to the institution that he knows very well to be able to get them to discuss issues. I think it's a step in the right direction.
Shortly after meeting with state governors from the Niger Delta region, President Buhari in October last year ordered a forensic audit of NDDC operations from its inception in 2001 to August 2019. Only recently, the President at a Federal Executive Council meeting approved the appointment of 8 field auditors to work with lead auditors appointed in June this year to undertake the forensic audit of the NDDC.
We are in total support of the President's directive for the forensic audit of the finances of the NDDC. Our hope is that the NDDC and indeed the Senate will continue to work together.
We hope that they will continue to support us to actualize the mandate of the President to carry out this forensic audit within the next 6 months.
There's no gainsaying the fact that improved relations between the legislative and executive arms of government will go a long way to shape the outcome of the ongoing forensic audit of the NDDC in a positive manner. This is because the envisaged cordial working relationship between both arms of government will enable them share information and ideas on how to strengthen the NDDC to improve its service delivery to largely backward communities in the Niger Delta. Without a shadow of doubt, the greatest beneficiaries of the renewed commitment of the transformation of the NDDC will be the long-suffering oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta.
Inside the Niger Delta. Heritage Bank. Service, performance, respect, integrity, innovation, tenacity, excellence. Heritage Bank, your timeless wealth partner. Looking for irresistible luxury? Welcome to Oak Haven Hotel, located at the heart of GRA Port Harcourt, River State. With a wide array of luxury rooms to offer you exquisite comfort to the VIP lounge with wireless internet services and a fully packed bar, Oak Haven Hotel also has a dazzling swimming pool, a chill-out area, and a massage and wellness spa. For your meetings and events, our conference hall and restaurant Victoria will exceed your expectations. Oak Haven Hotel, comfort you can't afford to miss.
Get to know the future. The future is ITEO.
Minister of State for Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Omotayo ALASOADURA, has reiterated the federal government's commitment to the restoration of lasting peace and sustainable development in the Niger Delta. Senator ALASOADURA gave the assurance that the Peace and Security Enlightenment and Sensitization Program organized by his ministry recently in Oguta town, headquarters of Oguta local government area of Imo State.
The Enlightenment Program, with the theme Peace, Security and Conflict Resolution, Pathway to Development, was organized recently at Oguta town in Oguta local government area of Imo State to build local capacity for conflict resolution and peace building. Senator ALASOADURA, while speaking at the event, noted that in an atmosphere of insecurity, development would continue to elude backward communities in the Niger Delta. He therefore enjoined all restive communities in the Niger Delta to always embrace dialogue in conflict situations.
The theme for today's program is apt and timely. We must therefore take deliberate steps to maintain the peace and security in our various communities It is on this note that I call on all stakeholders to work together to eliminate obstacles to development in the Niger Delta region.
Present at the sensitization program were political leaders, traditional rulers, and representatives of several groups in Oguta. Senator ALASOADURA commended them for remaining peaceful in all their engagements with the federal government and oil companies operating in their communities.
I'm very delighted to know that the people of Imo State have opted to toe the line of peace in all their dealings. Of particular interest is the peace-loving people of Oguta, local government area who, in spite of being a host community and usually associated with militancy and agitation, has consistently tread the path of dialogue to press for their demands. I salute your courage and patience.
In his contribution, Director Planning, Research and Statistics in the Niger Delta Ministry, Alfred Abba, who represented the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Babayo Kumo, said the program was in furtherance of his ministry's agenda for lasting peace and sustainable development in the Niger Delta.
The program is also intended at providing a platform for interaction between government and our people at the grassroots, with a view to giving them a listening ear and understanding their concerns.
For the Niger Delta Ministry, the just concluded Enlightenment Program in Imo State is the last in a series of engagements with oil companies in the Niger Delta. The initiative is in line with its mandate to promote peace and bring about sustainable development in the Niger Delta.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Residents of Austin Street in Uyo Metropolis, Akwa Ibom State, have appealed to the state government to save them from the menace of gully erosion. The appeal follows a recent landslide that cut off part of a building in the neighborhood. Correspondent Nelson Ajay tells us more.
Residents of a certain street in Uyo Metropolis are still in shock over a recent landslide that left many houses submerged after a heavy downpour that lasted several hours. According to residents, 3 children narrowly escaped death in the landslide that cut off a certain streets from neighboring streets along Wellington-Bassey Way in the state capital. It was gathered that the children aged 9, 6 and 5 years had barely left home after preparing their evening meals when the incident happened. Usaina and Asana Mohammed, survivors of the landslide, narrate their ordeal.
We hear how someone shout, so we now come out and check. So it was our kitchen that fell. So all our things pour inside the ravine. All our things is inside kitchen. All the things is enter inside the ravine. And they now call somebody. Somebody enter and remove the thing for us. And even the house has even caught.
Speaking to Inside the Niger Delta in Oyo, landlord of the affected building, Francis Ikpe, described the landslide as devastating, adding that it was a miraculous escape for the children. He blamed the sudden landslide on a poor drainage system that does not allow for the flow of water during heavy rains.
We are making a passionate appeal to the state government. They have to intervene because we cannot hide the fact. It's because of the construction of roads and poor drainage that is causing this problem. It's about costing lives. I thank God for divine intervention. We would have lost 3 lives, and this time we would have buried those children.
Other residents of a certain street maintained that the gully erosion had been a threat to lives for a long time. According to them, several government functionaries had been to the gully site with empty promises of timely intervention from the state government. They urged the government of Odom Emmanuel to come to their aid to forestall future disasters in the neighborhood.
Like the government is not responsive. They shouldn't play politics with life and property. It is very disheartening and it's very painful.
The State Commissioner for Environment and Petroleum Resources, Charles Udo, who visited the scene, appealed to residents to relocate and create room for government to provide a lasting solution to the menace of gully erosion in the area.
When you see situations like this, you need to move away. human activities also contribute to this. This is really devastating from what I can see. But of course, I need to make a formal report to government. Instantly, we are going to have to get people to relocate from here.
Thank you. There are indications that more landslide will likely occur in Oyo and its environs as the rainy season reaches its peak in the coming weeks. This could lead to more tragedies if no timely action is taken by the Akwa Ibom state government to protect the environment and save lives and properties.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Belema Oil Producing Limited, oil production and exploration company. Belema Oil, truly indigenous, world-class brand. Azikel Group, oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. Azikel Group, petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability and infrastructure development.
Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timothy Silva, recently maintained that the federal government was no longer fixing the pump price of petroleum products. Silva, who was reacting to the recent hike in the ex-depot price of a litre of petrol from about 139 naira to approximately 152 naira, explained that the federal government was more interested in protecting the interests of consumers from unjust profiteering by petroleum products marketers. In this report, correspondent Tekena Amiofori takes a look at the impact of deregulation in the petroleum sector and what the federal government must do with the savings from the stop of subsidy payments.
From 2006 to 2019, the federal government reportedly spent a whopping 10 trillion naira to subsidize cost of fuel, although it was touted as a deliberate policy to reduce economic hardship on Nigerians. The corrupt subsidy regime only benefited a charmed circle of Nigerian businessmen and women with government connections. Faced with an economic slowdown and unable to fund its 2020 budget, the federal government finally put a stop to fuel subsidy payments in June this year. In the month of September, following an increase in the ex-depot price of petrol from roughly 139 naira to 151 naira per litre, the essential commodity now sells for between 159 naira and 162 naira per litre.
We cannot be suffering water, light and fuel again in our own country. Other countries are making use of our fuel freely. It's not fair.
Should try to their best to make sure they decrease the price of the fuel so that it will help the people that are transporting, just like we, taxi driver and the passenger as well.
In view of the economic hardship the recent fuel price hike now imposes on the masses, the federal government has been advised to deploy huge funds saved through the stoppage of subsidy payments to provide basic amenities that most Nigerians can no longer afford.
That subsidy removal should now be plowed back into ensuring that our four refineries are working. We want to encourage the government to plow back that money that is saved from subsidy removal into infrastructural development, into health issues, into road matters, so that the country can function much more efficiently.
The subsidy removal in Nigeria is long overdue. The money you should be using in paying for subsidy, you can plug it into infrastructural development, provision of health care for the masses, provision of roads, provision of education for the less privileged, and then improved standard transportation system, not excluding agriculture.
Most industry players are in support of a deregulated downstream sector where prices of petroleum products will be determined by market forces. They are, however, not too sure if the federal government has fully embraced proper deregulation with the country's major regulator of the petroleum industry through its subsidiary, the Petroleum Products Marketing Company, still involved in price fixing of petroleum products.
Once the regulation is fully implemented, it means that there is no regulatory authority that's going to be talking about pricing. The business will be determined by the forces of demand and supply. So of course, there's going to be a lot of benefit.
To sustain the policy of deregulation in the petroleum downstream sector, the government must immediately fix the country's 4 ailing refineries and ensure that they operate at optimal capacity. No less imperative is the need to speed up the process of building modular refineries to compete favorably with the national refineries. This will check monopoly and provide employment that will create wealth for unemployed citizens.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, with that report, we draw the curtain on the program. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screen. Until next week, I am Mamode Akugha. Thank you for staying with us, and bye for now.